What's the theme song to that?
That's ours.
Oh, our normal little do 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 do
Yeah.
do do. And this is the Real Pundits podcast. This is Alex and
This is Brandon.
we're back together as both of us on here.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
Yeah, a little bit weird.
Been a few weeks. We've been trying to get this YouTube thing up and running.
I'm saying a little bit of a different arrangement trying to set up for that versus just doing audio. But hey, we're getting one step closer every single week. And
Format's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be taking the lead
I am going to be taking the lead. So,
because the general consensus is I'm too negative.
and I am way too positive. So we're going to go through and talk about some things today. And since you missed out on a conversation I was actually hoping to have with you, Hobbs and Shaw, man.
Oh, man.
What did
Idris
you think
Elba
was-
with superpowers?
Don't talk about my boy, man.
I'm not talking about your boy. I'm talking about the writers.
Mashing this up.
Yeah,
It's 100%
Hey,
mashup.
we were going to do a superhero movie with Idris Elba. Hey, let's make him the villain.
Okay, we
Who's
got
going to
that
be his
part.
heroes? The Rock and Jason Statham. But aren't they slated for a Fast and Furious spinoff?
Hey, let's mash all this up. But the chemistry, you have to admit, the chemistry is dead on.
No, for Rock, for Dwayne Johnson, because he's not The Rock anymore.
Oh, yes, I forgot we can't
Yeah,
call him The Rock.
For Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, this chemistry is phenomenal. I think it's great.
And to have a villain for them to play off of that actually is both sides classy, and you can also do the whole
I don't
action.
know that Jason Statham has been classy since,
Well,
I mean,
how far back do you want to go?
when he was playing Turkish.
I loved him as Turkish.
Yeah, that's the last time he was classy.
There has to be another time where he was classy. The mechanic was a little.
No. He had a nice house.
Yes.
And but that mechanic is just formulaic assassin.
But if you go
movie.
with the traditional situation, the English people normally have classier lines.
So is that all he's there to be the anti-Brit? Idris Elba is facing a Brit as an anti-Brit
In England.
in England. And then they threw Dwayne Johnson in there.
So that he have something to punch at. Because
That's why, when he got superpowers, you could just demolish Jason Statham.
Yeah.
But The Rock comes naturally with superpowers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And it's fun fact about that movie though, a wrestler named Roman Reigns
Another one.
is going to be in it. That's The Rock's cousin.
So it's a family affair now.
Yeah, it got the internet in an uproar because he is currently battling leukemia. Roman is.
Oh, wow.
And he relinquished his title and stepped off of WWE TV.
Wow.
To
So this is serious.
because of his leukemia, and it's the second time leukemia shot his NFL career, which is where he went to the WWE, became a wrestler.
Wow, you have all the history today.
I'm telling you, man.
You're
wrestling is my third forte.
Oh, your third forte. Well, talking about fortes, a movie's coming out this week, which I'm going to go see as soon as we get done with this, and I know you don't care about it, but look for it on the Geek Out. I'm going to go see Lego Movie 2, not because everything is awesome, because everything is catchy, because this song is catchy, and it'll get stuck in your head. If you haven't seen that, you don't know what I'm talking about. But the Lego Movie 2, I'm looking forward to it. It's so meta on itself. I'm going to enjoy it.
To be honest with you,
Hit me.
it's the catchy song that made me not want to go see this movie.
To me, if you're going to have Everything is Awesome, which is already a catchy tune, how are you going to one-up your second movie? Now, I don't think they could pull this off for a third movie. I think this is
the third movie.
I don't count
Lego Batman.
I don't count Lego Batman. That's its own separate movie. But either way, you'll hear about that on the Geek Out because I'll be
But the
recording
big twist was revealed at the end. How are you going to do it again? And are they going to have President Business? Is Will Ferrell coming back to reprise his role?
These
These are
don't
questions
know,
that
but
need to be answered.
And these will be answered on the next Geek Out episode. As soon as I get back from watching it, I'm going to go through and
But is he
talk
still
about
mad at his dad? Because if he's still mad at his dad, then President Business is a villain.
We're gonna find out.
If he's got a closer relationship with his dad, and his dad is playing with him, which is what they insinuated at the end of the Lego Movie, then President Business will be on their team now, and then the whole movie is just going to be weird.
And that's, to me, I think that'll be
That's the
kind of
point.
fun. It's the point of being weird. It's meta within itself, so who knows if that's actually going to come out. But in other trailer news, have you seen the whole Pet Cemetery thing, man?
Oh, okay. Pet Cemetery segues me into another one, so I'm just going to...
You're back
I'm
off
going
this
to
one?
ask you a question in return.
Okay.
Have you seen the Child's Play trailer?
Yes, I have. And now the problem I have with the Pet Cemetery trailer, I'm going to get into it because I'm having a big issue with... We've talked about this before on a previous episode, but really, people, if you're going to make a trailer, don't give up your catch, your twist. Don't give it up in the trailer. Don't show me, hey, this is going to happen. You've ruined it already. Yes, you said it in the catch line that it's going to be different this time. Yeah, your difference is you've changed from son to daughter. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then cool, I haven't ruined the movie for you. But to me, that was a ruin. Now, on the Child's Play situation, I'm mixed.
Giving away the mom peril, dude, that is so stupid.
And my also thing is, it's a remake that doesn't, for me, fit within the timeline. Child's Play originally came out with the whole, at the hype of Teddy Ruxpin. So the talking doll that comes to life, that's cool.
I think you got it coming back, though, with robotic toys.
You do, but
which is what the whole thing they're going with is. My question really is Charles Lee Ray going to possess the doll? That's question number one.
Okay.
If he is, why?
Okay.
Why did we just do Cult of Chucky? Showing that he can possess multiple dolls.
Right.
Is this a continuation of Cult of Chucky?
I don't think this is going to be canon. I think this is going to be them literally hitting the reset button.
But then why do Cult of Chucky 2 years ago? And when are we going to do the reset button for Leprechaun? Oh, they already tried that with Leprechaun Origins.
Yeah, they've been trying to do origins of a lot of these different movies and resets. But this goes in the same thing I was talking about a little while ago. We're going back to Candyman again. We're rehashing Twilight Zone again. And as much as I'm saying, hey, give us new ideas, now I'm starting to go, let's not go with new ideas. Let's just go with something safe. And if safe means that we're going to get a bunch of remakes, you have to not pull me into the same remake. If you're going to go shot by shot by shot and you're just updating it, fine, so be it. But you better add a twist and don't ruin your twist in your trailer.
I wasn't here when you talked about Twilight Zone, and I want to throw my 2 cents into that. Since
go ahead.
That is a show that is near and dear to my heart.
Okay, go ahead.
I am on the fence because Jordan Peele is an original enough writer that, and in the realm of television, this is not a Twilight Zone movie remake. This is a remake of, this is a reboot of the TV show. Similar to The Doctor, you can go and revisit old ideas.
Right.
But you can also continue with new ideas. And back then, only so much was possible is for what they could envision.
Okay.
Now, they can do Twilight Zone stories involving the internet, mobile phones.
Yes, you can update
You can expand and update it. And as long as Jordan Peele brings his movie magic into
He's just hosting it from what I understand. But that's not my major issue.
Oh, he's just hosting? I thought he was writing and directing.
He's probably going to have his hand involved in it. But my problem is, at the end of it, no matter how much you feel about it, do you want to sign on to CBS Direct to watch it?
No.
See, that's where my problem comes. It's not going to be for the mass. It's going to be for anybody who's on the CBS streaming service. And to me, they're swinging and hitting some misses. I mean, yes, the Star Trek Discovery has done its thing. It's out there. They've done some.
Some people don't like it.
It's a 50-50. I've seen some people go like, oh, it wasn't bad. It was cool. It has its own story. It's not a rehashing of what we know already. But I've also
continue telling the story of the Enterprise, though. I'm sure Jean-Luc was not the last captain.
No, you don't have to go through it. Well, you could go through and do another Enterprise. I have no problem with that. It's not the Enterprise part. It's the fact of you've taken it's about the group. It's about that team, which is another plug for what I was talking about in the Geek Out is. It's about that small little team and what that team's going through. With the beginning of Star Trek Discovery, it was really about just one character and what she was going through.
You know what's better than Star Trek Discovery?
Oh, you better do a Lord of the Rings thing.
Orville.
Oh, I already talked about Orville. Orville is, I passed that on to my mom, and my dad also watched it. Orville feels like
Star Trek.
And to me right now, that is all I'm really watching. I have binged all the way through Orville.
I was very conflicted with Orville. So my thought process when I first picked it up was, okay, this is going to be Seth MacFarlane funny with sci-fi themes. And it wasn't funny, but it was a really good sci-fi show.
It's a good sci-fi show, and it's humorous, and they took away some of the crutches that you would normally have on a Star Trek. They can't teleport anybody. So there's a lot of, we have to go to do this.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes it where
They can't.
They can't, but I mean.
The zoo people could.
Yes. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, I talked about this on the Geek Out. That's a decent show. That's Star Trek. And to me, for us to move forward with a lot of these different rehashes, I don't care if hey, we're going to do Child's Play, but we're going to add something so different that makes this version of Child's Play our own. If you want to keep the same concepts, cool, keep the same concepts, but make it your own. Don't be gimmicky. I think that's the problem, is it's gimmicky.
Well, that's the problem with that horror movie. It is a gimmick. the whole movie was gimmicky. Now, unless this evil little robot is part of a master scheme, so they're not going with the possession thing, but it's just a AI malfunction, which I'm down for. If
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, if they spin it, I'll change my mind on it. But at this point, Pet Sematary and Child's Play gets put in the same category for me.
Meh?
F them.
Okay. So those are F rankings on those.
Yeah, there's a few other letters in the alphabet.
I'm just going to say that you're giving them F ratings as far as from A through F. That's your F rating. So we talked about some trailers, and recently we both sat down, and I don't know how this even came up, but a movie was brought up, and you watched it, and I've already watched it, so I rewatched it just to see exactly where you were going, what you were thinking, why you were thinking those things. So
I'm going to make the nerds cry.
Oh, and I'm going to sit there and do my normal thing. But before we do that, let's go through our normal rigmarole of the movie we're talking about. It's called Antman and the Wasp. Came out 2018 on IMDb. It had a 7.1 to 10 as far as its little ranking. On Rotten Tomatoes, it got an 88%. Its budget was $152 million, and it made bank. It had $622.7 million it made. The director of this one is Peyton Reed. Now, the interesting thing about Peyton Reed, at least we had to start off with the same director on both pieces. Now, is he known for anything major other than The Breakup, Bring It On that came out in 2000?
And Yes Man.
And Down with Love, which I thought was visually just a beautiful looking movie.
But his biggest movie before Antman and Wasp was The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
Right. So, I mean, you had a lot of the cast return.
They took a gamble with him.
It took a huge gamble.
Anything?
No,
he does rom-coms.
Right, and it fit really well for the first one.
Well, it fit well for the second one too.
It did, and I think my biggest plug for it is it felt like a Marvel comic book, so that's where my whole thing is. So where was your beef at? Let me get that
what
first.
Beef?
Okay, you said you're going to make nerds cry.
Yeah, it was better than Infinity War.
I can't actually. I was going to say. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that movie. See, here's the bad thing, Marvel and Marvel fans.
Oh, wow, you're going there. Adjust the mic time. Let's see where you're going to go with this.
When your big build-up movie isn't as good as a throwaway sequel, you've done something wrong. When I am more invested into the small cast of characters, which I'll get to why that is in a second, than your big ensemble of movies you've built over time, you have a problem. Now, why am I more invested in the small cast of characters versus the ensemble? Because the ensemble is chaotic.
Yes,
the ensemble is chaotic, and I don't have enough time to care about what minus the Guardians of the Galaxy and the crew that followed that were on the spaceship. So Spider-Man, Tony Stark, I didn't have time to really care about anybody else. Thor, sure, because he was with the Guardians, and you literally went from Thor Ragnarok to that. But Captain America, Bucky, those I didn't care about their end of the story. Like you knew their purpose was to protect Venom. Vision.
Yeah, Venom. But the whole thing is
wrong, terrible Marvel film.
Splitting that up, though, I think that Ant-Man and Wasp follow on its own timeline, its own feature direction, which I think is fine. I think that in the Infinity War is just a needed byproduct of having all these movies going on for 10 years.
Oh, no, I
can't compare them.
I can dig it.
I can't compare them to each other. All I can sit there and say, was this a well put together movie that felt like we were picking right back up with, is this what happened in Ant-Man? This is what happens in Ant-Man and Wasp. And it continued.
And it's the ramifications of what happened in Civil War. And it didn't just show, and this is the one thing my hat goes off to Disney about. Right? So to me, and I'll use Venom as an example.
Okay.
Right? Spoiler alert for those of you that haven't seen Venom yet. So in Venom, when he first gets the symbiote, he meets his ex and her new doctor boyfriend in that restaurant.
Right.
Then he ends up in a tank full of lobsters. And then he's able to walk out and go to the hospital. There's no ramifications for what he's done.
No, none.
And then he gets to go on a rampage in the city. Still no ramifications. This big scientist guy gets to send his soldiers after him. Because how does a scientist company have a small military force? I don't know. Nobody knows. But no ramifications. Scott Lang helps Captain America. He happens to be on the wrong side of the law when he does it. Scott Lang's on house arrest. Now, that seems like a logical thing, right?
All right.
Except now Hank is on the run. With
Constantly.
his daughter. Can't be in one place because they're accessories to him. He didn't just ruin his own life. He ruined the lives of the people whose technology that he had. And now everybody who's been hunting Hank Pym's technology is still hunting it, but now Hank Pym doesn't have the I'm Hank Pym, go away thing. Now he's hidden and they're hunting him. My favorite thing
is
the Ghost.
I thought Ghost was done really well. But going back to
her story is what I really liked.
Her story made sense for how short of a time that we actually dealt with Ghost, that I felt like that was a character that I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next with. We also didn't fall into my normal Marvel problem that I normally have with most Marvel movies. Villain dies. We still have some open-ended things of, was Ghost in that whole people getting deleted when all of a sudden Thanos snapped the finger? I also think that what made Ant-Man and Wasp for me as far as a unit is this was, I guess, a very family-oriented movie.
Yeah.
And it kept it very family-oriented, even with his friends who were also former ex-cons. That same family unit was all involved. Now, I think they really toned up the whole family element. It was a very family-friendly movie, but it really felt like...
It fit. A comic book film.
It felt like a comic book film, a lighthearted comic book film, and I think that not enough people gave it its props for what it was. I mean, coming out when it
financially they did.
Or financially, yes, but I mean, you don't hear people talking about last year was strictly Infinity War. I'm like,
and Black Panther.
Definitely Black Panther.
Can't discount that.
I'm definitely not going to discount it, but it's one of those things of Ant-Man and Wasp was like lost on the.
It was the best one of the three.
Now I wouldn't go that far. That there is a line where I would actually stop. I don't think it's the best of the three.
No, because your best of the three is Black Panther.
For more reasons than what most people think.
Well, I'm not going to assume what your reasons are.
Thank you.
I'm just going to tell you why it wasn't.
Okay, let me hear your reasons why it wasn't, and I'll explain to you my reasons why it was.
Okay, so Black Panther to me, I cannot compare Ant-Man and Wasp to Black Panther.
No, you can't.
I can compare Ant-Man to Black Panther. It's the first movie, it's the first installment of the film. Right. So the reason Ant-Man and Wasp was better than Black Panther. Ant-Man was not as good as Black Panther. And I'm not saying that Ant-Man and Wasp as a film was better than Ant-Man.
Okay.
But they're on two separate planes. I already had established characters I cared about.
Right.
That I got to see in a positive light where their stories went, which is a rarity with sequels.
Yes, very much so.
Black Panther
is an origin story.
Well, kind of an origin story. It's a continuation of a small bit part in a different film, which so was Ant-Man and Wasp. But you're literally building the world of Wakanda. For me, it's not about. I can compare Black Panther 2 to Ant-Man and Wasp. I need to see what the follow-up is. That is why I say that Ant-Man and Wasp was better. Because Ant-Man and Wasp, once you have a successful number one, your number two historically doesn't go.
It normally fails.
Yeah,
like most
but the fact
fail.
that this was a great follow-up, fantastic, and you can't say that about Iron Man. You can't, and any installment. Iron Man 2 was not as good as Iron Man 1.
No, it wasn't.
Neither was Iron Man 3. The only sequel that has been better than the first was Winter Soldier. Because Winter Soldier felt like he just lost some stuff.
Right.
As long as Black Panther 2 follows through the way Black Panther 1 did, it'll be better than Ant-Man and Wasp.
Okay. Seeing where you're going, I can't sit there and battle you on that, but I still think that as far as sitting inside of an entire world that's already been developed already to create and establish another world well-rounded, I think they did a great job on the world building. I think that was my biggest kudos to Black Panther. Because yes, it is in the world of Marvel, but then they sat there and went, let's back out a little bit and let's just focus on one little aspect. And I felt like I was still in the Marvel universe, but I also was removed from a lot of the Marvel universe because they're dealing with their own thing.
Yeah, they were dealing with Thanos during that time
period. And so to me, that's where
which is weird to think about. How did the FBI, knowing that aliens showed up in New York, have any time to deal with Scott Lang?
Right. And they did it well, proving that the FBI is maybe doing their job in the world of fantasy. Yeah. Moving forward, I don't think we can honestly compare any of those three Marvel films back to each other. They are all
as movies, so scrap them as individual films.
Right.
This is where they're slotted now. Which one was better? As individual films.
As individual films, Now, before I answer this, because I have to sit there and build up, are we basing this on what? I'm going to throw the question back.
How well the filmmakers did. Base
Infinity-
this off direction.
Off of direction, Black Panther.
Okay. That's due to visual and world building.
Correct.
Period. No, and I can agree. So
That-
the direction
that-
category. So story.
Antman and Wasp. First story. The Black Panther story was almost a gimme. It was very linear. There was no, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, you knew where it was going.
You knew where it was going, whether you were a comic book fan or not. That was 100% linear story.
Well, they're not going to make Killmonger the new Black Panther permanently.
Yeah. So,
You know what my problem with it is? Where was Bucky at the end of Civil War?
in a tube, wasn't he?
No.
In Wakanda, wasn't he in a tube in Wakanda getting? They was kind of isolating him until they could figure out what they were going to be able to do with him. Right.
Where was Bucky in Black Panther?
In a tube, getting his brain put back together.
Okay. But all of a sudden, by the time Infinity War happens, which is not that far removed from Black Panther,
That was a week later.
it looks like he had been working on that farm for a good while.
That's how big his tube is, man.
Consistency is my problem.
You're going to allow that to be the one problem that you bring up after we deal with, invisible cars that are remotely...
Don't care about that.
Okay,
They're the most tech. It's believable to be that you have a meteorite that is fueling your technology. You have nanobite technology before Tony Stark.
And you're okay with all that, but where Bucky was and what he was doing is where you're...
Consistency.
Okay, I'll let that one go, man.
Because if he was out and on that farm, how did he let T'Challa, who helped him, get beat up? How did the Winter Soldier not step and be like, I'll kill Killmonger?
That would have been an interesting twist.
Because that would have made, for me, that would have made Black Panther a much better film. If they didn't just ignore Bucky the whole time. And I'm not saying that, and I hate Bucky as a character. I don't like the character. I'm so happy he turned. That was one of my biggest excitements of, spoiler alert, he died in Infinity War. I know he's coming back. It upsets me. But it's one of my favorite things is because I hate him in the comics. In Civil War, when Cap dies and he takes up the mantle, I hate it.
So you'd rather see U.S. Agent take over?
I'd rather see Punisher keep it.
Okay.
Like he did in that run.
Yeah.
But you're like one of my least favorite characters in the Marvel Universe, movies or comic books, is Bucky.
Okay.
And so I'm not complaining because I wanted to see him. I'm complaining because continuity.
All right.
And how did Killmonger not know that there was this soldier? Like, once you take over, you're in the know. So now you know the Winter Soldier.
So in other words, it's like becoming president, not asking about Area 51.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know you got this killer over here, and you know there's a chance that somebody could have an uprising.
So basically, you're waiting for the line of him saying, who that white boy is.
Not so much who that white boy is. What I'm looking for more is a...
let's bomb that area.
Let him out.
Let him out and get him out of our country.
No, Killmonger's a mercenary.
Yeah, but
you don't think he's never heard the rumors of Winter Soldier?
Yeah, but do you want that in your backyard?
You let him out. You don't know if he's in captivity.
Okay.
So you might think he's going to have a life debt.
Or he might just straight up kill you on sight.
Killmonger seems like the type of guy.
You know what? In all honesty, he couldn't do it because he didn't have the arm during that time period.
Exactly.
So yeah, that would have been... You work for me and I'll get you your arm back. That could have been a really interesting twist.
Yeah, because then now T'Challa has to fight Bucky twice.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. All right, out of direction.
And then he would have killed him.
Out of direction. Where
direction for me, Antman and Wasp.
Okay.
Because it's harder to direct a rom-com than it is an action.
Funny that you bring it up.
And that was a romantic comedy.
It was, with some action thrown over top of it, but Peyton Reed has already mastered that whole thing.
Right.
So,
but who directed Antman and Wasp? Or who directed Black Panther?
I forgot the guy's name. That's killing me.
What did he direct beforehand?
I actually don't know.
So we'll have to continue this conversation another time when we have all the information.
Yeah, that looks like it's time for me to do a little research and actually be able to back some things up.
Because if you have an action director or an epic film director, because that's really what Black Panther was. That was an
epic film. Yeah, that was an epic film.
It was an epic film with minimal battle, which is weird. But what happened so speaking, just epic film rant here, what happened to the days of The Postman and Waterworld? Now, I know I just used two Kevin Costner films, but Braveheart, they films that felt epic. or Lord of the Rings.
No, I knew you just couldn't be away from it long enough to sit there, and you were going to have to bring it up somewhere in there. Go ahead, man.
But those were epic films. Our epic films now, and you called it. Infinity War was Infinity Battle.
Yeah.
It was not Infinity War. At least Battle of the Five Armies called it what it was.
Yeah, well...
It was 5 armies battling. It was not a war.
So, I mean, it's one of those things of you have to kind of base it off of what we have and what we can actually do.
We can do so much more now.
Yeah, we can, but people don't have the ability to sit there and keep their attention span on something like that for long enough to go through and deal with a 2.5 hour long movie.
Really? Because I think the biggest complaint most people have about Game of Thrones this coming season is there's too little of it. They want 90-plus minute episodes. And now you got like 160, a couple of 80s.
That's also sitting at home. I'm talking about going to a theater, paying your $12 for...
Well, we both know the theater is going to go.
Yeah, I know.
We both know
trying
that's
to
on
fight
its way
for
out.
it. And shame on me because I'm going to have to go back and...
CBS is doing the streaming. Cable's about to go.
Yeah, I know. Going back for a second, Ryan Coogler is the director of Panther. What has he done? And these are all movies I've seen, which is really sad that I didn't bring this up. Fruitvale Station, Creed 2. I don't know about Fig. There's one I haven't seen of his. That's Fig. But these are, what do you consider?
Action films.
These are action films.
Yeah. So,
but bigger,
he was in his lane. He had a bigger budget.
Bigger budget, bigger cast, and a lot more of...
But he was still in his lane because you still have the Disney Marvel machine behind you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anybody can not anybody, but you look at James Gunn. How well he did with the Guardians.
Yeah, but that's also his forte. His forte.
They know how to cast. But if you look at from what is more difficult to make,
going out of your zone.
Yeah, and they didn't do that.
They didn't do that.
Neither one of them did.
But I mean, if you're the big company, if you're the big mouse, you're not going to sit there and hire a director to take a chance on, because we've seen what happens when you take a director and go, "Hey, let's take a chance on this." The fantastic flop.
That's not just the director. That's also Sony's doing.
No, but see, if you look at it though, like beyond that part, you took a director who is known for making cerebral horror type of things, and if they went with his original movie, which we saw clips of, if we had actual clips of, you would actually have to deal with the fact of you have a horror director who's giving the psychological problems of becoming a member of the Fantastic Four. So you had these scenes in which you have Human Torch, he's just on fire and he can't control it, and you're dealing with the psychological ramifications of being locked in stone and you can't feel your legs, but you know you're somewhere around there, and you had a director who is built for that. Now, due to some Hollywood silliness, that got totally wrecked as far as a movie. And we never got a chance to get that movie, which I would actually still be interested in seeing the original version of the Fantastic Flop. I don't think it would have improved the film in any way, but I think that it would have been...
Studio interference, we've already talked about this, is the death of art of the art that the filmmaker has. You look at movies, I'll bring up a horror film, not like I was trying to, The Dead.
Yeah, what about
During a time in which an oversaturated, overly produced zombie genre was coming out, one film stood out above all. The Dead.
Zombie. Oh.
During the time. That is way back. You're talking two brothers who were influenced directly by Romero, who came up with their own money, found distribution if they could make the film. Decided to shoot it in Africa without a studio backing. Had to pay off warlords and soldiers constantly. That movie never, they did it the dangerous way twice because they went to India and had to deal with the same thing over there. But they wanted the real feel, independent film. No studio backing. And how much better was that than World War Z? How much better was that than even Survival of the Dead?
And you still... See, we have to get into that one because I want to know where you rate Survival of the Dead.
It is right above Diary of the Dead.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get into that because I want to actually hit you up on that because I've been really on a Romero thing recently. But on that note, I hate to end the conversation short, man, but it's time. We'll get back to talking more about just where things are as far as directors and how they set up things, and I think we are definitely in
We
agreement.
did not do a rating system on Ant-Man and Wasp yet.
I'm avoiding it.
No, we have to do a rating.
All right,
Out of 5 stars, how many are you giving?
4.
I'll agree.
That was a long fight.
No fight. Yep.
No
4.
fight. So
Pundit score, 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. I have some faults with it, but they're so minor that
Yeah.
it's a character interactions.
Yeah.
So I'm not even gonna let it go.
Even then, the character interactions don't bother me as much.
They were dead on with what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you really can't.
Just characters that annoy me, like Luis. He annoys me, but I understand his purpose.
They toned him way up. They turned him up.
No, they didn't. He was the same as he was in Ant-Man.
Not as bad.
Oh, go back and watch Ant-Man. It's the same thing. It's just seeing it twice kind of kills you the stick.
Maybe that was the whole thing.
It's like beating a dead horse with a baby seal.
Okay, that's a good visual.
Yeah, like
Is the baby still alive or dead?
Dead.
That's okay.
Yeah, you've already clubbed it to death, and then
Okay.
you took it and you beat a dead horse.
Okay, just making sure that seal was.
That's
no
what the
longer-
Luis get, and that was my only real issue with it. Is I don't like that character. He annoys me, but he annoyed me in the first one too. But that's his purpose, so I have to accept it. He's supposed to be the annoying sidekick.
Well, that is the end of the show. And to end this whole situation off, if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to sit there and tell us that, hey, this isn't working for you, you can always find us at mailbag at The Real Pundits, and that's TheRealPundits.com. If you can't spell the com, you have some other issues, and maybe you shouldn't be on the internet. So hit us up there, or you can find us on Twitter. I am at ANA Real Pundit. And Brandon, are you actually?
I'm at Bran, Real Pundit.
Yeah, I
I
was
finally
making sure
got
you
my.
keep it.
Yes,
keep it up.
I
Just making sure
finally
it's still
got.
up.
I figured out the password and email I used for it. Yeah.
You're good. So
Yeah, I'm
that's
back.
going to be really important for you because this is our last of the non-cold shows. As of our next show, I can say this now: winter is coming.
That's right. Game of Thrones. Woo!
So as of next show, we're going to actually starting up on our Game of Thrones, leading up to Game of Thrones.
So I have an idea,
Okay.
and we'll let the fans decide.
Okay.
So instead of reviewing a season
Okay.
all at once, and maybe we still will review a season, so that's one option. We can review the whole season in one episode,
Okay.
or we can review one episode of each season. Pick our favorite, or have the fans pick the favorite,
Okay.
and we review that one, the most influential episode of that season.
Then I guess we need to take this to the Twitterverse.
Yep. Come on, Twitter.
Either
Let us know
Twitter
what you
or
wanna-
hit us
let
up
you
on
know-
our, or you can hit us up on our Facebook group.
Yeah.
There you go.
Real Pundits Film Talk.
So that gives us that whole thing. So if you're looking for us to talk about some other things, and you just have to hit me up on the Geek Out, because I'm going to be talking about my Lego Movie 2, which as soon as the reason why I'm trying to end the show right now.
Everything's
real quick.
not awesome.
Shut your mouth. Anyways, I'm going to go see that movie. I'll be back to talk about it. And the next time we talk, it will be the rumor of being cold. That's where we started off at.
Yeah, because winter is coming, even though winter has come.
Yeah, and those people in the Midwest, it's just definitely here. All right, people.
Flip floppy.
Everyone, stay up, take care, and bye.